We're going to talk about payment mechanisms and cards, because we need to use cryptocurrency, don't we? Let's find out what this is about. So hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, slap on a like, and most importantly write a nice comment. It helps me get further viewage. So on the screen we've got Swipe. Hi. We're going to talk about a few little elements of competition regarding payment cards, adoption, using your cryptocurrency basically in a simple, organized, cheap, effective, cool, honest, awesome way. Now, let me just refrain to a few little things. First things first, before we go really into the nitty gritty of all of this, I want to mention one thing. My channel is going through a bit of a rebrand. New head is coming because I changed my style a little bit. You know, I still use the hat. People didn't like it when I took my hat off. They thought, ooh, that's a bit weird. So I'm going to keep the hat. New banner is coming. But I want to say thank you to all the people that obviously view my channel. But I have added a membership here, optional membership. If you want to support the channel, get some extra goodies, you can. That is now live today, and there's some other cool stuff coming. But I want to keep that under my hat and up my nose, basically. So, Swipe. This is the first element of this because I've never really looked at this properly, and we're going to do it together because it's going to be fun. Why not? Hoo-hoo. But first things first, let's look at it. Ranked 70 in market cap, which is absolute nonsense, bollocks, load of shite. Ultimately though, the circulating supply isn't too bad, but there's a big total supply there. Hopefully nothing too untoward there in terms of holdings. Obviously that is a big thing, but it's relatively new on the scene. It's been around for like almost a year now, but when you consider that it's been taken over by Binance, it's fucked off to the moon in basic terms. So it's essentially going to be a multiple digital asset wallet and a Visa card to enable people to buy and sell various currencies, basically like crypto.com, which is the second thing I want to mention. I'm a lover of crypto.com. I want to see if this stacks up next to it. Now, not everyone agrees with me on crypto.com. People think it's a bit, yeah, there's a few little things with it, but I personally love it. I've never had any issues with it, but that's just probably people just picking up bones out of certain things, like just picking at things. It's usually the way. But it is going to use a two-layer approach for users to combine off-chain and on-chain platforms. Oh, so that's good. On-chain, off-chain is always good because on-chain stuff gets very, very close. When you're thinking about payments and multiple people doing transactions all around the world at all different times, it's going to get quite cloggy. So just be a thing. But this one here is what I like about this, which is what I read this morning. As functions are being called on the Swipe network, 80% of those SXP fees are automatically burned. Deflationary model. They're good. So it's like XRP in a way where fees are burned. You most likely probably don't know that. There's all kinds of other cryptocurrencies that do that too. Uterus is another one. There's quite a few out there that have this burning mechanism. Kyber Network's another one. I just keep thinking of them. So just be careful when you're looking at coins that add to supply. Ones that decrease supply, they're good. So let's look at a few things. So the Swipe token first. We'll look at Swipe token. Why not? Token utility is always important. But as I say, this element here, the fees are burnt and obviously 20% remain in an Oracle contract. Network fees, or transaction fees, network fees, payment, staking, and discounts are all going to be used as a part of the token. So obviously hold the token, you get incentives, all kinds of good stuff. But one thing I want to look at first is how does it look? All kinds of good stuff. Because I've had a little glance, but I want to obviously do this together with you. And the one thing to look at is it's entirely up to you on preference. I wouldn't suggest if you are like, say if you've been using crypto.com for a while and you want to use this because it's new, just be careful because you got to look at certain things. What extras do they give compared to crypto.com? That is what we're looking to try and find out and discover. The biggest issue that you've got with all this stuff now, we're going to get a shit ton of competition. A shit ton of competition. And there's another one I'm going to mention later on, which you probably may guess. If you want to have a little play around in the comments, feel free to guess what it is. But ultimately, this is going to be like, I've been banging this drum for ages. I'm not that turned on by DeFi right now. I am in certain ways the way it works with this sort of mechanism where you've got a payment card, you can buy it, you can stake it, you can use it, you can send it, it's decentralized in a way, but I'm not turned on by the Uniswap sort of stuff. It's very, very risky, especially if you're buying stuff with huge yields and stuff. I think that's very, very awkward, especially if it goes wrong. Look at Yam, for example. So I'm not quite turned on by that because it's quite unproven, where this is proven. Crypto.com's been around for a while. There's other competitors out there as well. You got Wirex Card too. So with this in mind, we've got to see what's good and what do they offer. But this has a lot of good stuff as well. Obviously, you know, multiple assets, buying, and you got the debit cards and stuff. But the one thing about this that I do feel is an issue in a way is Binance jumping on ship. Reason being, they're just trying to monopolize cryptocurrency, whereas they should have just, in my opinion, focused on exchanges and they make it a bit better. But there's all kinds of stuff here that is very, very similar to crypto.com. Now, I don't mean that as a swipe, but if you're gonna use something and do something, try not to copy it like for like, because already we've got 4 cards, right? They're all different names, they're all different colors, right? That is very, very similar to crypto.com. Obviously, you got cashback, you got the dual stuff, the ATM access, and obviously the staking. So already, when you look at it, it's like, that's very, very similar to crypto.com. So that's one big thing that I've got an issue with this sort of thing. Again, the payments and the benefits and the perks. You got the same things. You got Netflix, Spotify, Airbnb, Prime, music. They're very, very similar. So are people on crypto.com really missing out? As it stands, but first initial look, probably not, no. So we need to dig a little bit deeper and see what else we can find. But again, similar sort of ilk, right? No harm in it, having a very, very good system to allow you to purchase and buy cryptocurrency. But what I would say is, if you are thinking about jumping ship, I just don't see, realistically the issue in crypto.com if you're going to go identically to the same sort of thing. And that's realistically what they only offer is cards in like a way of a wallet of exchange, which is fair enough, which is really, really good. But we're going to look elsewhere. We're going to look at crypto.com. Now, again, crypto.com has a huge supply. This is a CRO token. And again, founded in 2016, been around for a while. And this token uses it in different kind of ways, but there's absolutely huge room to grow in the world of adoption for payments and purchasing crypto in a very, very easy, simple fashion. That's the one thing that I really dislike about the space. It's quite hard. Like if you're brand new to the space, it's like really hard to do things. These companies do make it a lot easier. But if we're looking at the token first, obviously the CRO token, it's an open source chain. Crypto chain is a next generation blockchain that enables transaction for worldwide between businesses or people and businesses. It's secure, low cost, privacy, and all kinds of cool stuff. But there's no real tokenomics on here unless you really dig deep in the white paper. And the one thing that I will say about the white paper, if you can be asked reading white papers these days, feel free to do it. But this is brand new. This is a brand new white paper, including like the fact that MCO has totally gone with crypto.com. So I would say get your teeth stuck into these sort of things because you need to understand the thing about the decentralized finance element of it, and most importantly how the earning mechanism work, and obviously how the token works. Now we're going to go over to the end of this. Now, as I say, not everyone wants to read these sort of things. Obviously you got a lot of security, you got accreditations and all kinds of security stuff. There's a lot of things happening with crypto.com. If you look at like how they've kind of went through the milestones and where they're going in the future, there's a lot of things happening here. And I don't think people realize how big this could actually become as like a potential area. When you look at Swipe, they've got certain things. They're very, very similar to crypto.com, but these have got a full-on exchange, which is obviously vitally important. You've got obviously the cards here, the cashback, all kinds of stuff, very, very similar to what we've just witnessed, but these had it first. So when you go all the way through the exchange, spot trade and syndicate, staking, benefit, that is vitally important. But here we have decentralized finance, the way of the custodians, the way of being able to safely hold it in an app, at a wallet essentially with your private keys to allow staking. That is vitally important. Private keys, you own them. That is key. That is a big deal, especially in the space. When you've got token earns, the huge amount of stable coins there, the amount of tokens that you can use, that is vitally important that you understand each one. So this has a much bigger growth pool. There's a much bigger product line available to people, and it's vitally important. But here's the token. Let's talk about the token. Now, they've got a total amount. There's been no pre-sale, no public sale, no ICO. That is vitally important. It's also been audited and assessed. Now, this is what we've got. This is what we need to look at. We've got capital reserves, we've got ecosystem grants, we've got community development, secondary distribution, launch incentives, and most importantly, obviously the network long-term incentives too. The addresses are all there. So the freeze, let's talk about the freeze. This is vitally important. They cannot dump this on people because the team do not and will not, likelihood, hopefully, use it as a selling point. Now, when you look at this, 60% free, so the free CRO wallets are holding the capital reserves for long-term incentives and ecosystem grants. This can be sold, most likely, obviously, to allow capital to grow. 20% in each wallet. Now, the one thing with this is they don't have to sell it to make money. They can distribute it as a part of an incentive where if you do something, you will get the incentives back, which is vitally important. That's what they've been doing. And if you've noticed how they run their business, it's really, really clever. They've been in the business, in the space for a while. They've got an exchange that's good for fees. Now, when you consider this, a lot of people look at this thinking, oh, it's 60%, they can just sell it for dollars. They're not going to use it for dollars either when the value is so high. All they're going to do is a simple lines of a medium of exchange, but give it out to people as incentives for marketing. That is what they've been doing for a long time. If you've noticed the syndicates, vitally important you understand that. That is a great way to distribute this as, all the way up until 2022, which is obviously it's frozen to, but when they've actually unfrozen that, what can they do with all these syndicates and stuff? They can really go turbo on it, and they can really get a big pool of people, get a huge amount of distribution by using these reserve funds, especially for the ecosystem grants and the network long capital reserves and all kinds of stuff like that. They can use that very, very easily in their own ecosystem. That is a vitally important thing. So when you look at that, that is like unbelievable. But as you can see here, the distribution of the supply is going to create scarcity, and it's a total chalk and cheese model. It is chalk and cheese in a way that this is going to add to supply, but in a way, as the company is growing, it's adding to the value because people need to hold that CRO token to do stuff, like the Binance token, like other tokens out there as well. The likelihood of people jumping into syndicates is probably pretty high in the future. The chances of them using the exchanges to get less fees is high. The chances of using, the cards to hold the token, high. So as it goes on and on and on, the amount of supply going out there, which they've already got anyways, is going to be very, very interesting to watch. But as the company grows, that token should grow. Scarcity should grow as well because people need that token. It's vitally important you understand how these models work. So as you can see here, the token utility, the chain, the wallet, the Visa cards, the app, there's fucking loads, the exchange, the syndicates, the credit. Oof. So vitally important you understand how, and obviously you got all the kind of the ecosystem there, that how it works, all the exchanges that it's on, all the stuff on the wallets. It's like absolutely, it's a behemoth, really. In my opinion, it's an absolute behemoth. But there's other ones out there too. There's obviously one more I'm going to mention, which I've never really looked at. But personally, Crypto.com is in the lead by a long way, by years, because they've been around the longest. They've got a very, very good scarcity model in a way where they're going to distribute the tokens as it grows. That scarcity will increase price, and they've obviously got a freeze for a long period of time. As you've seen here, the freeze has been on for a while. So with the freeze, that is vitally important that people understand how this is going to work, and they're holding them as capital reserve, network long-term incentives, that's key, and ecosystem grants. So the ecosystem will obviously get, a huge boost from that, obviously using it, and most importantly, the main element is obviously the long-term incentives. The ability to hold that token, what will you get for it? If you're going to get money back for holding the token as incentives, well, if you're a holder, you're probably going to be doing okay in the future. So, lastly, let's look at Platos, if that is pronounced right. Now, I've never really looked at this. I see people talk about it quite a lot. And again, This is a more of a UK based sort of thing, and it's pretty cool. But again, this is a sort of thing where it's managing your fiat and your crypto in one place, and you get rewards as well. It's very, very similar in a way, but totally different, if that makes sense. So you can obviously use the Platus DEX to buy and sell crypto. That's vitally important, and I've never really looked at it in much detail, but this is getting a lot of interest in the space, and I want to kind of cover it briefly. I will do more on this because, in my opinion, as I said at the start of the video, I'm pretty turned on by the world of adoption. Not so much the DeFi, that the people being in the space for the right reasons to be able to use and trade it and being able to then spend it. It kind of makes sense. So there's all kinds here about this. But again, big things are happening in the space, in my opinion, especially around the fiat world, embedded crypto with it. This is key. You can get your own bloody UK bank with this, which is pretty damn awesome. And most importantly, the crypto side of it is vitally key around this. Obviously, you can see rewarding debit card for crypto enthusiast. Pretty damn cool. Convert your token or Ethereum by using it. That's pretty damn awesome. So this is a different way of going with crypto.com ways, which is why I'm thinking Swipe have went to like for like with crypto.com, whereas this is an alternative for a different reason. And I don't really see any qualms with having this card here and a crypto.com card, because it's totally different the way they work. This, using it, you get rewards back in crypto. You get rewards back in crypto on crypto.com, but the ability to use other things on crypto.com is vast, much bigger in that way. So this is definitely interesting too. So obviously here, 3% rewards on your card. Pretty damn decent, getting a token there, the PLU token, the PLU token. So absolutely key you understand the difference between each one. Again, they have obviously plans here, how you can do it. It's free to use it. So absolutely vitally important you do your research on any payment card. In my opinion, crypto.com comes out top, just because they've got so much out there. They've got a longevity kind of approach, they've been around for a while. But the element of the likes of this is competition, in my opinion, will be probably better than Swipe in some cases in terms of the use case, whereas Swipe have got Binance to push it. And you may well see Swipe becoming quite dominant in the future, but it depends on how much they actually offer compared to crypto.com. So, video done. It's a long one, I know, but please do some research on these if you are looking at cards. Link below to crypto.com. Use Crypto Mobster as a referral if you so wish to. $50 free if you do that, if you're staking for the better card. Au revoir. Enjoy.